Welcome back, people. It is episode 47 of the Taxi Squad podcast. It is currently Wednesday, November 22nd. You will be listening to this on November 23rd, which just so happens to be a Thanksgiving episode.
Gobble, gobble. I am thankful for you, Mike. I am thankful for you, and I'm thankful for the show, man.
I'm thankful for you as well, Vincent. Almost 20 years of friendship, which is truly insane.
It's almost disgusting.
And yeah, which is absolutely bananas. And not only that, but I mean, I think this is truly going to be our first Thanksgiving episode.
I think so.
I mean, yeah, no, I think it is.
Because
So
last
gobble.
year I think we dropped on Wednesday, so that wasn't a legitimate Thanksgiving episode. So here we are. And also, just so people know, episode 47 is season 3. We're not 47 in. We're in the hundos. So
Yeah,
just so you know.
exactly. We have hundreds.
We've been
It
here.
should
We've
be
done it.
somewhere. We've been here for some time now, and we appreciate everybody sticking with us. We got a
Thank
full
you.
gambit for you today. We got a interesting, strange, and unusual, a couple different interesting, strange, and unusuals. And then not only that, we got to talk about college football, which is coming to a sad end, which makes Mike upset. We got to talk about baseball free agency, which is kind of off to a hot start, aka the hot stove. And then we're going to talk about why Travis Kelce is nothing without his Swiftie. So, aka NFL talk. Vince, how you doing? How's the week going? I know it's like one of those weeks. It's like nobody talked to me. I'm not working.
Yeah.
If you think I'm working, it's all pretend.
Yep, I have been working. Yeah, I would be lying if I said I was giving it 100%. Let's say I'm giving it 97%, in case anybody that I work with is listening. I'm still giving my best shot, but not working tomorrow, not working Friday, so I get to spend a lot of good family time. We threw a surprise party for my mom last week. That
Happy
went
birthday,
amazing. Her
Saw it.
birthday is on Saturday. So if anybody knows her, say happy birthday on Saturday. But yeah, it was a blast, lots of family time, and I can't ask for anything more. So great. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. It was a quiet week, which I'm grateful for. And yeah, missing the fam this week. It's my first year
Yeah.
not attending the blackout mess of Huntley, Illinois, of the Turkey Testicle Festival in almost 19 years.
Damn.
So yeah, I've
That
been
long.
going, no, more like 16 years,
Still.
17 years. Because I would drive my brother and all his friends when I was 16 to TTF and then pick them up after. And then once I turned 21, then I would go.
Yeah.
And
You were no longer the
hey,
DD.
if you want to spend more money on cheap beer than you ever have and meet a lot of people from high school that you don't care to see anymore,
Pass.
Turkey Testicle Festival is the place for you.
Hard pass on that for me,
It's
man.
the
No, thank
place
you.
for you. Man, I haven't seen you in 10 years.
On
There's a
purpose.
fucking reason. There's
On
a
purpose.
fucking reason. There's a reason. There's always like that one girl who was cute in high school, and then she has like 7 kids now,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, hey, you.
Hey,
Oh
Aiden
my
and little
God,
Chucky.
You look great. It's like, thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Somebody
Used
give
to
me a
stick
Miller
your nose-
Lite.
You used to stick up your nose at me when I was a fat kid. Funny how that works.
Who would have thunk?
Young
who would've
trauma,
thunk?
I tell you what. Now I have a platform.
Now I can let it out on you guys.
Now I can just let it all out on the podcast. Anyways, no, I'm great, man. No, this'll be a interesting first Thanksgiving in the desert.
Yeah.
So for me, it's interesting because like that whole seasons thing doesn't
Not a
happen
thing.
here.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't feel like Thanksgiving. It feels like fucking September. It's
Yeah.
70 degrees and sunny every day here right now.
That would
It's
freak
kinda-
me
it's
out.
like,
But you'll get
I
used
love
to
it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, but it's still one of those things where it's a mind fuck. It's like, wait, it's November 22nd. And
It's
80
definitely
degrees.
different. It's definitely different. But you'll get used to it. I'm sure you'll be fine when it's January or February and I'm dying out here and you're doing all right over there. So
I'll be back in the Midwest in December, baby.
true.
This ain't
True.
it. I'm about to be back. But no, yeah, all in all, good things. Excited to bring it to you. I say that we get into our first strange and unusual,
Shall
which I I think that the great sport of Formula or One is growing wildly
Yeah.
across the U.S. marketplace, more so than anywhere in the country. And it turned out to be an absolute shit show. Max Verstappen was questioned as to what his favorite part of the weekend was, and he said his hotel room. So if that's the case, where one of the best drivers in the sport is just saying, yeah, the most fun I had was in my hotel room, you're probably not doing something correct.
Probably not.
Absolute shit show of traffic. I heard a lot of different things from family with boots on the ground there in Las Vegas that getting in and around the strip would take hours.
Duh.
Due to streets being shut down and all of that. And then not only that, but Friday, the practices for the race, which was on Saturday evening, had tickets to attend the event. And, all the influencers and the stars show up for this stuff because they pretend like they give a shit. And it's a way for influencer girls to post pictures in leather and racing suits as if they give a shit about the sport itself at all, which they do not. But I digress. So to add to this, about 35,000 fans were told at 1:30 in the morning, due to numerous delays of the practice, that they had to leave.
It was 1:30 a.m.?
Yep.
In Vegas, though, so it's different.
Yeah, in Vegas, they do things late because it's A, Vegas, B, it's F1, so they want people to,
Yeah.
come out and come around for all of it. But yeah, people had like private booths and shit, and the cops literally came in at 1:30 in the morning before practice even started and told everybody they needed to leave. And when people questioned, why can't I stay? I paid for my ticket. They said, oh, curfew, and watch it from your hotel room.
Curfew.
So
there's curfew in Vegas?
I guess. So the fans have spoken. And free clout here for Dimopoulos Law Firm.
You're welcome.
Out of Las Vegas. You're not Greek. They filed a lawsuit
Dimopoulos
in Nevada on behalf of 35,000 fans who purchased tickets for Thursday's practice run. The legal firm announced Saturday 5 individuals were named as plaintiffs in the suit, which is seeking over $15,000 in compensatory and general damage.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
This is due to Carlos, and I messed his name up, Sainz, whatever it is.
Carlos Sainz
ran over a water valve and damaged his Ferrari, so that caused delays. 2.5 hours, 2:30 a.m. local time Friday, extending the practice, and they had to leave. The thing is, I don't really understand it. It's akin to like a weather delay in a baseball game or something of that nature. Like, you would at least get reimbursed or you get a ticket for the rescheduled time, would have been my assumption, but they just kicked him out and said F off.
Yep, pretty much. They said we're shutting down the event past 2:30 a.m. and they were like, everybody needs to get the fuck out. And everybody questioned, well, seems like a you problem, to your point, similar to like a rain delay.
Yeah.
The rain delay goes on. If they abandon the game and say, okay, we're going to remake this game up, you get a voucher where you can come back and watch.
Right.
That didn't happen here. Not the case. So basically they were told, get the fuck out. And this is a word from Steve Dimiopoulos or whatever the fuck his name is. We will vindicate the rights of the fans and to travel the great distances and pay small fortunes to attend, but we are deprived of the experience.
That was kind of my thought process. People who traveled far and wide to go see this. I knew people from over here that went to go see it. Obviously, a lot of people were traveling from like LA, New York, whatever it may be, to go see this thing. And to that point too, it's like a lot of the hotels and casinos, they ended up moving up their amount of like however much it costs per room, and they didn't actually sell out, and then they started like selling them on super deals by the end of it. So everybody was anticipating like an insane influx of people going to Vegas and doing this. And just the fact that would happen, it's like going to like a Bears game in like New York, and then you get there and they're like, it's too rainy. You got to get out of here. We're taking your money.
What I don't understand is, I know you want to do it in the streets of Las Vegas, and I know that's sexy and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Well, they did it in what, like 1962 or something like that?
That's when it was fucking the desert.
Yeah. No, I know, but it was like that. They wanted to bring back that vibe. I guess that was the idea.
Oh, failed miserably. I think if you were going to do this in the future, You need to have it at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Right.
Create
That would have
some
been my
sort of
thought.
a circuit there. Fans can attend. You can get Ubers. You can do all that happy, good shit. Granted, it's put off the strip, but it doesn't create the fucking nightmare.
And this happened for NASCAR in Chicago. Not the same thing, but a similar issue. It's like maybe, just maybe, don't shoot the messenger here, but like maybe just race on a racetrack instead of just maybe just common roads.
Joliet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
When did this start, I wonder? For real, why did they choose all these major cities and major metropolitan areas, which I know it's sexy.
It's just that. It's just that. It's just that. There's so many people there. It's going to attract so many things. People understand what it looks like. There's an iconic piece of like what the strip looks like behind all the cars, and all the pictures and videos are going to be amazing. Like that's the idea. But, the idea and then when it's actually put into practice are two very different things.
Interesting. I bet you I could get a far deeper dive on this. Being in the industry I have actually met the Clark County fire inspector.
Okay. Okay.
Might be someone to get
Jealous.
Some questions. Yeah. Yeah, no big deal.
I've been waiting to meet that guy.
I've been waiting years to meet this guy. He's actually an interesting person to
I'm
talk
sure
to.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to know all about what happened at that one music festival many moons ago, which people choose to block out of their minds, he has a whole story. It's
the Ariana Grande insane. One?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's pass on that one.
Yeah, let's definitely pass on that one. But yeah, no, tis the season. Cheers to that, right?
Cheers
to
tis the season,
silly
everybody.
People. Tis the season.
But yeah, I mean, again, like it's weird that it was at 2:30 in the morning. It is weird that they kicked everybody out. It's weird that they put curfew because everything I've heard about Vegas, and I haven't been there in a long time, there shouldn't be a curfew. I don't think there is a curfew.
Las Vegas is the city that doesn't sleep.
Right.
Also, Sinatra claimed New York was that.
Well, yeah, but that changes in time. Sinatra, old Vegas and new Vegas are a little bit different.
I'm speaking of the song New York, but
no, I know, but for what it's worth, he pandered cities, Mr. Sinatra.
He did.
Yeah, Chicago and New York. You can't have both of them. You can't have both. You can't choose that.
He's Sinatra. He could do whatever the fuck he wanted.
And he did. To your point, and he did.
They don't really pander. You can't really pander on cities and music anymore.
No.
Although rappers used to do it, but rappers really don't do it anymore.
You claim your city. Yeah. You're like, I'm from the A. Chicago till New York, I die. That kind of deal. Yeah. It's New York. Yeah. Action Bronson will still do it. You better goddamn believe that. Opportunity be knocking.
That's my best Action Bronson.
It's good. We've done this for hours.
Just got it with a cheese plate.
If you guys want a full Action Bronson podcast, you just let us know. We could take care of that. To bring us to something a little more positive, Ichiro Suzuki is not done yet. He's not done. He loves the game.
Done. Oh, he's not finished.
He loves the game. He's 50 years old right now. And on Tuesday night at the Tokyo Dome, Ichiro Suzuki goes onto the mound. He's pitching the annual All-Star game against the best high school girl baseball players in Japan. Ichiro, you'd think like maybe he goes in there like, yeah, it's going to be fun. MLB player, best hitter ever, most hits ever, whatever it may be. He took it very seriously. Let me read you the stat line here. 50-year-old Ichiro Suzuki's pitching line against the high school girls all-star team. 9 innings pitched, complete game. 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks, 116 pitches, topping out at 86 miles per hour on the mound. And he got 2 hits on the other side too. So he granted he's not throwing 99, but he's also a 50-year-old man. And he's deciding to just for the love of the game. And this is the thing, and we were kind of talking a little bit about it earlier. This is one of those things where it's like he's not doing this for any other reason than just love of the game. That's solely it.
I think it's great, though. I would love to see him compete against like an all-boys team to see where he's at.
I wonder why it is all girls. It's weird.
I don't know. Baseball in Japan, we've discussed this on this podcast. This is a dream of this podcast. The next World Baseball Classic. Vince and I will be attending in Japan.
Yeah.
and we will be there in the flesh. So by that time, pay attention to it. It will happen. And we're going to eat sushi and watch baseball. And who knows, Vince might leave with a Japanese wife if he's not married by that point.
We'll see.
So, oh, you big man. That's what they would say.
You're gonna get
Chicago.
You're gonna get canceled like Shane Gillis. You can't do that.
I'm not gonna get canceled. I love their culture. How
We're gonna get canceled. Ichiro though, I know. I'm just messing with you. Ichiro, nasty sliders. If you guys want to look at this, go on the Twitters, go on the X's, whatever. Go follow Pitching Ninja because he is the man and he breaks down a lot of pitches.
Shout out to
throughout
Pitching
the
Ninja.
Year. But he posted a video of him throwing sick ass sliders. It's kind of insane to me. You think at some point this guy's arm's going to fall off. Mind you, he started the MLB when he was 27, I want to say, playing in the Japanese leagues before then. He had 3,000 plus hits in the MLB after he turned 27. I think overall he has the most hits combined in multiple leagues altogether. And now he's just pitching 9 innings like it's no big deal. Like this guy's a different level of badass.
I mean, he had an absolute cannon of an arm going back to his time in the MLB. I mean, at least I am old enough to remember Ichiro's first game. He was the Japanese hype that nobody had seen in the sport really ever, and really started to pave a way for the Hideki Matsuis of the world, for the Shohei Ohtani
Daisuke Matsuzaka.
You can't forget about Kosuke Fukudome. Right.
And all these guys that are coming in right now.
Who was the White Sox closer for a while?
Oh boy. Uh-oh. Dang. I know him. I know his face. I'm looking dead at it right now in my head.
We all do. We all remember him.
Damn it. Oh, that stinks. I can't think of his name for the life of me. It's like I'm
going to find out right now, Vince.
Yeah, you absolutely should. But I mean, you'll even see that now. You got Yamamoto.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready? Shingo Takatsu. Shingo Takatsu was amazing for 1 year. And he literally had a lights out end of year 1 year, and then he was dog shit the next. And then after that, Tadahito
Oguchi. That's what I was going to say.
Tadahito, man. Part of that 2005 White Sox team, which will go down in history.
He made that anti-gravity play, and it's amazing. I mean, like, obviously the Japanese culture and its effect on the MLB has been insane. That is continuing to happen. We're going to get to that later in this episode with the Shohei Ohtani talk. But also even, and I can't think of all the names, so I apologize in advance, but also even the guys like the Mets this year signing a Japanese starting pitcher, the Boston Red Sox signing a Japanese outfielder. You got a bunch of different people from Japan that are coming on over. You can make a direct correlation of that starting with Ichiro Suzuki, and the fact that he's 50 now and he's still, regardless of who he's playing, I get that he's not playing against like professional Japanese teams, but the fact that he's just pitching 9 innings and 116 pitches as a 50-year-old man after essentially 2 full careers in 2 different leagues, that's nothing to bat an eye at. That's pretty insane.
The man is truly amazing.
Yeah.
And that's true love of the game, right? It's like Jamie Moyer pitched into
49
years old. And he topped out at 78 miles an hour.
Right.
I remember that. And I mean, he played for almost every team there was.
Yep.
Which is truly insane.
It's one of those bingo cards. Just fill them out as they go.
It's kind of like Joe Flacco.
Yeah, at this point.
Joe Flacco, for the record, just signed with the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
And he might start on Sunday.
He might.
We'll get into it. But I love guys still playing the sport that they love and not wanting to hang it up.
I agree. Because also he's finding a different way than just, I mean, granted, what was he, like 45 when he retired with the Mariners? He had 3 years at the end there where you're like, hey, dude, you probably should get out of here. You know? Because he played for the Yankees at an advanced age anyway.
This is the great thing about Japan. They live and breathe baseball.
All right.
And it's what kind of the U.S. used to be like. At least I could envision a
before
US
we got all those other
time.
Sports. Before we got all the other sports. That's the thing. It's like
the
NFL's
always been great. Don't get me wrong. But then again, it's always
But
been
has it been though? Have you seen some of the videos of like 1960s NFL? It's like the field goal post is in the middle of the touchdown and they threw a forward pass once a game. And then you're like, yeah, Jim Brown's a dog because, like, granted, Jim Brown's amazing, one of the best running backs of all time, but also, like, they ran the ball 90% of the time. Like, they're not airing it. Like, right now, it's the complete inverse of what was happening at the beginning of that.
AFL was the thing.
Right.
And they were the league that threw the ball a lot, and
But still, comparatively.
True.
They threw
it's
it
a
more.
Different game today.
Yeah.
It's a different game. I think we grew up in a sweet spot of the NFL where you could still take somebody's fucking head off and get away with it. And guys would get concussions and come back out on the field. CTE wasn't even a thing.
Did you hear what your guy Tom Brady said?
What did Tom Brady say?
He went on an interview. I forgot who it was with. I want to say it might have been with Stephen A. Smith. But he went on an interview talking about how officiating now and how it's working, like it's like they're taking away from players and talent doesn't matter as much because officiating's gotten so like skewed where people can't hit people the way that they were. And the whole time I was listening to it, I was like, it's kind of because of you, dude. Like, you're actually the reason they did that.
Like, listen, I love Tom more than anything.
I know, exactly.
But that's the pot. Yeah, no, that's the pot calling the kettle black right there.
Yeah, like you're the reason that happened, dude.
Yeah, you're like that's such a terrible take from him.
Because he used to get his head taken off in like 2002. You see his head taken off, but like once he started getting a little older, they're like, all right, protect the Bradys, protect the Peyton Mannings. Like that's how that went.
Well, there are some plays now that are just egregious how bad they are as to some of the flags that get thrown.
Oh, it's brutal.
There's always gonna be bad calls, just like the AFC Championship game last year. With,
I didn't see anything.
Orlando Brown holding, which
I didn't see anything.
Always take to the fucking grave with
me.
Don't
think anything happened there.
That robbed the Bengals of another Super Bowl shot. But anyways, I digress. I do believe that Brady did kind of usher that in, protect the quarterback, protect the players. Back when Randy Moss and Chris Carter was playing, you could come across the middle. Good luck.
Oh, light them up.
Lit up.
Yeah.
You're gonna get lit up. Quarterbacks didn't do it really, and if they did, they knew they were putting their guy at risk.
Well, that's what he was saying too. He was like throwing the ball in the middle was a death sentence, and then once he got older, it was like you can throw wherever you want, and then that kind of fosters in the slot receiver boom. Essentially, that ended up happening because a lot of times those are middle slant routes in the middle of the field, and it's just like give it to the small guy and watch him run. Like the Tyler Lockett archetype wasn't as big back then as it is now.
It all started, let's not kid ourselves, it really started with Wes Welker. It really did.
Yeah.
I mean, Wes Welker and that Patriots offense really ushered in.
Little white guys. Yeah.
Little Caucasian dudes just running all over the place like ninjas, and then that sparks the Edelmans of the world, Danny Amendola, all that good stuff.
Just the entire Patriots all the time.
Well, Wes Welker did go play with Peyton.
After he made it. Yeah. I know what you're saying, though, because
it was the Patriots archetype, though.
Peyton had his Stokelys. Peyton had a couple other guys like that where it became more possible.
Stokely was true. Also tight ends. I mean,
Dallas Clark,
Jeremy Shockey. Come on. I don't know how we go from baseball, Ichiro Suzuki, to now full-blown football talk.
Well, that's the Taxi Squad podcast.
That is the Taxi Squad podcast. We can find a way to convert any sort of talk into
Brady
football talk.
Yeah.
Or Tom Brady talk. Now, the real question is, I wonder if Tom Brady shaves his face.
I would say so.
It's a good-looking face.
He's doing a little beard now.
Is he doing a little scruff?
Tiny little bit.
If he was going to choose to shave his face with anybody, though, because he is the GOAT, and we do represent the GOAT of razors, a.k.a. Henson Shaving Company, that is the brand he would use. And here's a word from our friendly sponsor at Henson Shaving.
This part of today's episode is brought to you by none other than our friends at Henson Shaving. If you guys have been listening to the show for a while, you already know that we swear by Henson Shaving. We've been using them for months, and there really isn't a better product out there. The Henson razor puts an end to shaving irritation and cuts while also making your skin feel comfortable and smooth. This razor is made by using CNC machines to aerospace standards. That's right, rocket ships, people. That means it's made to very tight tolerances, meaning that the combination of how securely it's held and how minimally the blade is exposed delivers a smooth and safe shave no other razor can offer. It's literally one blade. Be safe. Please be safe. They're very sharp. You twist on the top and you get to work. It's that easy. You remember the beard bet? You remember me shaving off the whole thing. If you need to watch somebody use it, go on my Instagram and check it out because it's really that easy. Cost of ownership averages $88.20 every 2 years, which is essentially $177 less than normal cartridge razors. They're sustainable. It's precise. It's Henson shaving. It's got a nice weight to it. It's made out of metal. None of this plastic garbage. So please use the promo code THETAXISQUAD, THETAXI. SQUAD at checkout, and you'll receive 100 pack of blades free with the purchase of the razor. So you go on the site, you add the razor that you're looking for, and then you add 100 pack of razors, you'll get those for free. For most users, this amount of blades will last you 2 to 5 years depending on how often you shave. So that promo code again is the Taxi Squad at hensonshaving.com. Go check it out.
College football. What a wonderful weekend it was for college football.
Always.
Had some rivalry games. It was pretty interesting, to say the least, if you got an opportunity to watch some of the Big Ten matchups that were going on. A lot of potential.
Are you talking about Iowa versus Illinois, 15-12 or 13?
No, just a bottom line, if Iowa's playing anybody, just take the under.
Yep.
That's all you got to do. You'll win money. With all of that, though, no, talking more so about the team in Michigan without their head coach playing a Maryland team, also in the Big Ten.
Tagovailoa, though.
Yeah, another Tagovailoa. Also, we got to talk about the Pac-12. We got some games to break down here, and let's really start it here with this Michigan game. Wasn't their best showing. I don't know if they're keeping some gas in the tank for this upcoming Saturday after Thanksgiving, where they play arguably their biggest game of the season. In
Easily.
Ohio State.
I don't know if it's an argument at this point. It absolutely is.
For them to go in to Maryland, granted, tough team, plays hard. They played them hard last year. Get it.
Not 11-0.
Not 11-0.
Yeah.
6-5, and this game went down to the fourth quarter where Michigan in the second half scored a grand total of 8 points.
Yeah.
Not what you were thinking you would see. J.J. McCarthy got bailed out by the running game. Blake Corum has saved his ass more times than I'm assuming he'd like to count, and that defense is playing lights out. Now, right now, I believe that if the Tag brother, a.k.a. Tagovailoa, Talia, I don't know. But I believe if he played a better game and didn't throw 2 interceptions and had no touchdowns, this would be a different tale of the tape, but it wasn't. So I believe that Michigan may have been leaving something in the tank on this one for Ohio State. Vince, your thoughts?
I don't know if that is a good strategy. I think it is weird, granted all the things that are happening to Michigan the last couple weeks, and then especially this Harbaugh suspension or whatever it may be. I've said it for a while. I think J.J. McCarthy's a little overhyped. He had a press conference, 2 days ago? Something like that after this game, saying he actually grew up an Ohio State fan, which is probably not what you want to hear as a Michigan fan. But yeah, no, I think they're a good team. I obviously do. They're going to go up against OSU again, which is the biggest game that they have going this year. I don't see that going well, especially after all of this shit that's been going on with them. But yeah, I mean, again, Maryland's a good team. They're good enough. They might play in a bowl this year, depending on how this last week goes. But it's like
they'll play in a potato bowl
in some random one, right? It's not going to be anything crazy, but it's got to be a tiny bit concerning going in number 3 in the nation, going up against Ohio State, which is presumably number 2. It can't be all just sunshine and roses out in Michigan right now.
Yeah, definitely not sunshine and roses, which also could be considered rainbows. I believe that the Harbaugh suspension may have something to do with it. If anybody paid attention to that, basically they challenged it, stated that, okay, well, we're going to, take you to court on this one and basically say you have no proof. Well, the NCAA did, in fact, clearly go to the Big Ten commissioner. And then not only that, the AD at Michigan and said, okay, well, here's the evidence we have.
Right.
So you choose how you'd like to move forward. And basically, Michigan just stated, yeah, we'll take the suspension. Thank you very much.
They
and
took exactly what they needed to get to sweep the rest of this under the rug. That's exactly what it was. And then they were like, we don't like this. It's like, well, this is the inverse. This is what would happen outside of this. I heard this question being made. Obviously, there's a lot of, yammering about, is Harbaugh going to leave Michigan this year? Is he going to go to the NFL? Maybe they pull a little Jim Tressel. I don't know if you remember this, but they actually had Jim Tressel, like they gave him a suspension after he was suspended from the NCAA. If he went to the NFL, he would have had to serve the same suspension. Would the NFL do that for Jim Harbaugh if he were to come to the NFL? I'm not really sure, but
no.
They've talked about it on NFL Network, and NFL Network is owned by the NFL, and they probably wouldn't give that the green light unless they had something to do with it.
I see what you're saying, but now it's to a point, if Harbaugh does in fact leave, which was going to be my next question. I mean, what are the odds that he leaves moving into 2024?
High, depending on how they end this. Like,
if you had to give it, odds of, 50, 50, 60, 40, what would you give it at this time?
I think it, depending on how this weekend goes, you can go from a 60 to a 90. Because if they lose to Ohio State, if they end up like kind of stumbling into this last couple of weeks and then miraculously an Iowa team ends up making the Big Ten championship, like I think he's going to want to come back and, make it happen again. But if they beat Ohio State, if they go to the Big Ten championship, they beat Ohio State there, I see him leaving for almost indefinitely.
I don't see a way they lose this game on Saturday. I really don't.
Even
I
if
really
he's not
do
there?
not.
Because this is his last game in suspension, right?
It's going to be a 37-degree game at Michigan at the Big House. Fans are going to be packed. Anybody who's anybody is going to be there. All the alums are going to be there. It might snow, right? I mean, we don't have a crystal ball,
Ohio
right now. I know. I'm not saying that. I do think the home field advantage will do this. And I think the team is behind him right now. And I just don't think Ohio State has the offensive firepower minus Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, monster.
You got to get him the ball. He's still the best player in college football right now, overall. I just don't know if they have the quarterback to get him the ball. And that's my only concern. Where J.J. McCarthy's in a system, knows the system. Blake Corum's running his fucking face off right now. They almost lose to Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Not necessarily known for playing very well on the road. Young quarterback. I just don't see that there's a scenario right now. I mean, I think Michigan wins this game. Beyond this, I don't know how they compete in the
You might want to sprinkle some money on that because I don't know if Vegas agrees with you there.
Really?
Yeah, I think right now, I have to check to be sure, but I'm pretty sure OSU's out.
Check the odds, Vince.
I will.
Check the odds.
I will.
Meanwhile, while all this nonsense is going on in the Big Ten and everybody's getting suspended and the rumor mill is hot right now, Harbaugh to Chicago, which none of us would bat an eye, really. But
bring him to Chicago.
Let's go to Southern California, shall we?
Do you want to?
Mikey,
you sure you want to?
Time. Mikey breakdown time. All right. Sorry. It gets me all.
Oh, jeez, he's dying. He's dying.
Gets me all misty. Yeah, just thinking about it. But USC right now should be ashamed of their showing this season as to what they've done and how they've played. Their final regular season game against arguably their largest rival in division, in the last game you get in the Pac-12 at home against the fucking school that's up the street in UCLA. Also, this news came out before the game that Chip Kelly will not be retained. So a silent firing.
Interesting.
you'd think you're in a position with the best quarterback in college football, allegedly. Jury's still out.
I don't
That
know.
you're going to
Drake May's not that good right now either. So
go. Well, he played a good Clemson team, and he hung with them till the fourth quarter. I watched that whole game. Caleb Williams came out looking suspect, and I'm having second thoughts whether or not he is the best overall quarterback we've seen in a decade.
Oh my
Talent-wise.
God. Who would have thought we would have got here this year?
He makes the throws, don't get me wrong, but his decision-making is dog shit, and he's going to need some real help there if he's not going to play hero ball at the next level, which we have found out on the north side of Chicago doesn't really fucking work.
Outside of one guy, no one else can fucking do it. Josh Allen can't even do it this year, so it's not like this is a recipe for success, for sure.
No, but if we look at Lincoln Riley right now, I believe if you think as a USC fan that he is not on a hot seat, you
no shot.
are
not right now.
Very mistaken. He is on a hot seat. No.
It might be a little hot to the touch, but I don't think it's anywhere.
I personally believe he bit off way too much he could chew leaving Norman, Oklahoma. This is arguably the largest overstep of I got it that I've ever seen in this circle. This could be like Lane Kiffin when he decided at 25 years old or whatever the fuck he was that he was going to go coach the Raiders. He just didn't have it. Went back to college, has remained in college, right? As a wise person would do. But unlike Lane Kiffin, he had his faults at OU, and none of those faults have been worked through. A lot of those faults in the Big 12 you could mask, like not playing defense.
Right? At all.
Right?
At all.
I guess the difference is when you were at OU and playing in the Big 12, you had an actual run game and you decided to run the ball. Maybe that was the Stoops rubbing off on him. Maybe Stoops was advising him to that stage of the game. And now he's kind of gone off on his own. It's not as tight-knit. It's the bright lights of L.A. It's SoCal vibes. It's, 72 and sunny every day. Well, I think something has clearly got to his head because this team looks like dog shit. They don't tackle. They don't run the football well. They don't really do anything well, minus Caleb Williams ad-libbing and throwing to a guy who runs a 4.3 40.
Right.
That's all I got.
Marshawn Lloyd, 8 carries, 17 yards. That ain't going to do it. Brendan Rice, obviously a great game. You can't lose by 18 to UCLA.
To your largest division rival.
Yeah.
And Ethan Garbers, a freshman out of UCLA, outperformed you at quarterback.
3 touchdown game. Threw the ball about 11 times less. Way less yards, but a lot more efficient. Especially looking at that second half there. 17 points in the third quarter for a UCLA team that isn't the greatest at scoring, especially for like a West Coast team. And this has been the thing the whole year. It's like they can't tackle. They're playing bad defense. We've talked about that almost weekly. Even when they won, even though they win, it's like, well, they didn't really play defense that well. And it kind of seems to be consistent. So I don't think he's going to get fired this year. It might be a little bit of a hot seat, comes back around, has to do some stuff again. But I think the best thing for him is to get somebody in there that can run the defense and then leave it the fuck alone and figure out your offense by yourself. Like that's going to be...
He will never figure it out. Ever.
I mean, he's coached good teams. That's the thing. And he's coached good players. It's just putting it all together.
Pac-12. Not
in the
Pac-12.
Big 12, right. But even so, like those Oklahoma teams were good. And it's just 7-5. They're moving to the Big 10. That's going to be hard to replicate, especially in colder weather, like we just talked about in Michigan. Like they're probably going to have to play Michigan at some point. It's not it's a little damning. It's a little damning right now. I think this is definitely like a pack it up and try again because USC was getting the hype in the beginning of the year too. So expectations versus reality is a little bit, it can be a little skewed. So it is insane. I do feel like it's insane.
They were one of my playoff picks.
Yeah.
I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I thought there's no way this team could regress. They have regressed greatly. I think Lincoln is not who it's going to be in the next 2 years as they transition to the Big 10. No way. No way. That's all I got on this
Yeah.
team. It is an epic disappointment, and I feel bad for the kids who thought that they were transferring there to win anything.
See you in the Tostitos Bowl, buddy.
I guess they might play Tulane again in the fucking Samsung Bowl and get their asses kicked. Who
It's
knows?
possible. It is possible.
And at this stage of the game, if you're Caleb Williams, do you even decide to come back?
No,
next year?
fuck
No
no. Get out
You're
of
gone.
there. Your stock is already going down. Go to the
You're
combine, throw the ball 80 yards, get everybody back on your ass and liking you a lot, and then go to an NFL team. There's no reason to come back to this team. The view looking forward is not the brightest thing in the world like it was 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Correct me if I may be putting the cart before the horse, but if you're the Chicago Bears right now and you have
him,
Caleb,
yeah,
why?
he has the most talent.
Is he more talented than Justin Fields?
It's hard to say. It is hard to say comparatively. But I mean, like, as far as his body build's concerned, and he can throw the ball a little more accurately than Justin Fields can. At least it doesn't have the speed in that way. I don't think the Bears would do anything good with him, but if I'm going to pick anybody out of this draft, it's him or Marvin Harrison, and I'm not picking a receiver for the Bears right now. Then I'm not taking Drake May, dude. I don't believe in Drake May. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
If you can't tell the look on this Foch,
I don't think you are.
It's disheartening.
Yeah.
I'm disheartened.
Well, and also you have a very close, like, you're very close to the situation. So
I'm close to the situation. I might be close to any situation for most college football teams.
Yeah.
Unlike Vince, who's a Notre Dame fan who just goes with it.
It is what it is. You got to deal with what you get.
I digress. Let's talk about James Madison losing to App State in OT, shall we?
Oh, man. What a shame.
We were very high on this team. We still are high on this team. They're still ranked 24th. They lost the game and they're still ranked. They're ranked higher than USC, by the way.
Well, I mean, shit. They went to College Game Day, went to James Madison. They got national spotlight. 26,000 people showed up for College Game Day at James Madison. Their field only holds 25, I think, or something like that for like student section. Man. So it's dope. It's super cool. They lost their bid to try to get into a bowl game again. Didn't end up happening. But you know what? Badass for your first year coming out of the FCS and making it a real case as to why they're good. I do think there was a little too much hype on them. I think they felt it a little bit too, and that's kind of what ended up coming out of this. But they're a fun team.
They're in the Sun Belt Conference. They're doing their thing. I think next year they're going to try and upgrade. I would hope they upgrade. Go play some. Maybe Big 12 for them is the play.
I don't even know. Can they move conferences that quickly? I mean, they just moved into the FBS.
I have no idea. Maybe somebody takes a run at them. Maybe they're the one team in the Pac-12. Who knows?
That would be, James Madison. Aren't they in Virginia?
Pac-1.
Yeah.
They're in the Pac-1. The team that's not.
They're on the Atlantic Ocean and they're the Pac-12.
They're like, we count. We still count. But I digress. I just thought that game, for what it was interesting that people are even paying attention to a Sun Belt game.
Yeah.
I would also like to discuss the fact that Miami hung with Louisville, and they had some costly, I would say, poor time management. Mario Cristobal is not doing what he needs to be doing right now.
I was going to say, I think that's kind of their claim to fame this year is bad time management. Because need I remind you earlier in the year with one of the worst plays that's ever happened in college football history, also due to the coach of the team. Jack Plummer. I mean, the thing is like this Louisville team came in unranked. It seemed like since the day they beat Notre Dame, all of a sudden it was like switch of the fucking team, and they've just been on a heater. So Miami Hurricanes are very talented. Tyler Van Dyke is not too bad. I think 6-5 is right about where they should be for the year, which is good. But I don't know. I don't see Cristobal staying there for much longer than he already is there, especially with some of these mistakes. It's just not great.
I think he's got one more year. Another coach who could be on a hot seat. Hey, Jack Plummer, son of Jake Plummer, a.k.a. Jake the Snake. Guy was an absolute dog when he was in the NFL. Now, if it's of no surprise, Georgia's the best team in college football, absolutely destroying Tennessee
doubt.
38-10.
There
Joe
were
Milton is
two different
not him.
two different levels of teams. I mean, comparatively, like Tennessee last year could give them a run for sure. Not Tennessee this year. Georgia's very good. Georgia's fucking good. Carson Beck, sorry for talking so much shit about you. You're pretty damn good too. Like, it's just
a little time to figure it out.
Their offense is running amazing. Whatever Kirby's doing over there, it's good. They don't care that you get in car accidents or accidentally murder people. It's fine. Play well on the field. Go to national championships. They're taking the complete Alabama mold right now. They're going to go back to the national championship again. I'm not surprised that they're going to win it, especially looking at like 2, 3, 4, 5 right now losing their best player, which we'll get to in a moment as well. It's like there's not a team that I can see that's going to compete against them. And I thought this year they had a chance of being a little bit weaker because of the quarterback position. But if you're going 24 for 30 against a top 25 team, 3 touchdowns, 298, and no interceptions, like, yeah, you'll be all right, dude.
He's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Tennessee, on the other hand, is going to completely fall in the rankings. They need a better quarterback. Yeah, to the point, 25th.
They got that backup that they brought in. I think he's going to be pretty good. Joe Milton, that experience is just about over. He'll probably ride out the rest of the season. I don't see them dropping that much in the rankings just because they got demolished by the best team in the country.
They're 25th.
I mean, they were like 12 or something, so they did fall, but
no, they were 17, and now they're 25th, which is rightfully so. I mean, without Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt and the guys who truly made that team a team and that offense an offense, it's not surprising for a second. But Georgia, to your point, there's no doubt about it. They repeat. I mean, who's really going to try and dethrone them?
I can't see it anywhere. Like the SEC championship might be a blowout. You think it's going to be Alabama, Georgia, and then they're just going to blow them out too? Like they're so much better.
I think if Alabama played Georgia tomorrow, it'd be actually a close game. I think they just know how to play each other. I think Kirby and Saban know how to play each other.
Yeah, that's true. And they're like, there's definitely a rivalry piece to it now, just because Georgia's taking what Alabama was essentially. But I just think like firepower by itself, this Georgia team is just stupid good. Kirby Smart's doing some shit over there. Whatever the fuck he's doing, people got to get that Kool-Aid. Yeah,
they got that money.
Yep,
they got that money. Jimbo is out at A&M.
He is.
You think the more money you'd have, the better off you are. I don't know the money aspect.
A&M's got a lot of money.
They got a lot more money than most. And we talked about that last year on this podcast as to what that meant.
We talked about that last week, too. It's like they got a lot of money. It's not working out too well. And now they're paying 2 coaches. They're like the Raiders of the college football. It's crazy.
It is bananas. Now, a game I'd like to transition to, Big 12 matchup, battle for Kansas. The Kansas State Wildcats played the Kansas Jayhawks. Jayhawks were at an extreme disadvantage just simply due to the fact that they did not have any of their starting quarterbacks on this team. Gentleman by the name of Jason Bean was supposed to be the starting quarterback. Got concussed last week and was a game-time decision. Decided he could not go. The son of the GM for the Indianapolis Colts, Cole Ballard.
Chris Ballard? Is that his name?
Chris Ballard, yes. Yeah, his eldest son is a true freshman at Kansas. And
that's tough.
For what it was in a rivalry game at home on a short week, played a hell of a fucking game for a young man. And against a very good Kansas State team, the beginning of this game, you thought Kansas State may actually have a shot.
Yeah.
The Jayhawks put up 20 points in the first half, and then the second half scored a touchdown, and then the Jayhawks woke up. And then it was like death by 1,000 cuts, turnover, poor decision-making, poor time management. And it was like Rocky in a way, right? You know how Rocky loses the first fight?
Yeah.
Against Apollo Creed?
Yep. You start off a little hot, you feel like there's a chance, and that's when you get let down, that kind of deal.
They kept coming after him, right?
Yeah.
But they just didn't have what it took to get the final decision.
Yeah. And this wasn't Kansas State playing as like the creme de la creme, like King of Kansas, whatever it was either. It's like they didn't have a good game either. They are 8-3. They are 19th in the country, so nothing to bat an eye at. Kansas was ranked at some point this year as well, so they're good, talented teams. But obviously, bringing in a guy, obviously game managing, 16 throws, didn't do anything too bad until you start getting to the end of the game, and then it was like we're taking a couple costly decisions, and hopefully it'll end up working out for us. Didn't end up happening, but it is cool. Like it is, and that's the thing too. It's like no matter what the talent level is, like there's a slider on Madden where you can just like toggle on even teams. That's kind of what it seems like every time you put up like a Kansas State versus Kansas, or even like in the NFL too. Like you go like a interdivision matchup or whatever it is. It's like throw the record books out, throw out who's good on what team. Like these teams come and they just are at each other's necks, and that's what it kind of felt like seeing this game.
I think that's a lot of the Big 12 all in all, to your point.
Yeah.
It's like you hit the even team matchup in NCAA 14, right?
Right.
Which is arguably the greatest football game that has ever existed.
Yeah.
In
it's not Madden 24, I'll tell you that.
No, Madden 24 is horrific. Madden 2004 is
Great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that crazy that games back then are better than anything being produced
We
now?
were also like 10 to
No
12 or 13.
No. Vince and I notably have drunken NCAA 14
True.
fucking tournaments.
Nostalgia's a bitch, though.
1:30 in the morning.
Nostalgia's
and those
a bitch,
games
though.
play better than anything out today.
I'll give you that, but nostalgia's a bitch too. I don't know. I think it's like it's all relative, but yeah, I mean the new Maddens, they just don't change anything.
Fuck
which
relativity.
Is
I'm just saying.
Tell Newton that, dude. Tell Sir Isaac Newton that shit.
Fuck him. What did he do?
Anyway, a lot.
Fuck him. He doesn't know shit. Him and Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton didn't do shit, dude.
that old Tesla guy, full of shit.
Yeah,
Anyways,
full of shit.
I do think, though, that to the point, this game basically solidified Kansas State being in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
We'll see who they play. Iowa State this upcoming week is going to be a heck of a game. I don't know. Texas, everybody made a big deal that they beat Iowa State. I'm like, ooh, cool.
But they're playing in the Big 12 championship. Texas is.
They have to.
Yeah.
And how they're ranked 7th right now. The only reason
they're good, dude.
The no, they're not that good.
They're good.
Okay. They're that good. Are we going to talk about the fact that they're that fucking good?
They're not any better than anybody in front of us, but they're also not any worse than anybody behind them. They
scored 6 points in the first half against an Iowa State team.
Good defense.
My only thing with Texas is this. They're in for a rude fucking awakening joining the SEC next
year.
As is OU, as is a lot of these teams jumping. But they always play down to the level of competition that they're playing. They rarely play up. And they played Bama the second week of the year, and everybody wants to crown them.
That was a pretty good game. But Bama's gotten a lot better throughout the year too. And I don't think Texas has gotten any better. If they played that game
right now, no fucking way.
No. Well, because Milton kind of got his shit figured out. Or Milrow, got his shit figured out too, which helped them a lot. Because they were having quarterback issues for a long time. But yeah, I mean, I had Texas in my top 4. That's obviously not fucking happening this year. I wanted it to, but it's not happening this year.
No shit.
But I do think like 7's probably an apt rank for them this year so far.
I think they should.
There's not that many really, really good teams in college football this year outside of Georgia.
Well, that's true. Let's switch to my opinion. One of the best teams in the country.
Notre Dame. No shit. That's awesome.
Northwest. No. Pacific Northwest. Let's talk about the Washington Huskies playing the Oregon State Beavers.
Yeah.
Yes. This game was insane. Oregon really put the screws to the Huskies in the second half. The Huskies didn't score a fucking point in the second half. Their second half adjustments were great. DJ Ugalele is not it, for the record. That poor guy couldn't find fucking water if he fell out of a boat in the second half or under pressure. Not only that, Michael Penix, I feel like, is getting a rough bid at the Heisman right now.
A bit of a hard go at it. Yeah.
Because Bo Nix's past two opponents are USC and ASU.
Yeah.
So where Penix's last two opponents...
Well, and Washington. Oh, are you saying last two? I got you. I thought you said two best.
No.
Yeah.
So his last two opponents, meaning is, okay, they played Utah, and then now they played Oregon State.
Yeah.
So two very good defenses, right? And Bo Nix is throwing 6 touchdowns a game against terrible defenses.
Yeah.
And Penix is playing great defenses and winning. 2 touchdowns, 162 yards. Not necessarily Heisman-type numbers, but then again, you're playing really difficult games.
Right.
So I don't know exactly how that breaks down.
Well, there's a lot of Jaden Daniels talks, too.
Once again, another guy, that's not it. Jaden Daniels is a tremendous talent, but to win a Heisman, you truly need to have a team around you that's going to get you into the last dance.
Right, but we're not looking at this is exactly who's going to win that's the thing this year. There's so much parity. It's like I can see 3 different guys winning a Heisman this year, and none of them are coming from the best team in the country. Any way this voting goes, it could be 2, 3, 4 different guys. You think it's between the two?
I got 2.
You think it's Bo Nix and Michael Penix?
That's it. I think it all ends with Ix.
I don't know. You could have made an argument for Jordan Travis until this weekend. You could have made an argument for that.
Jordan Travis, poor guy, man. I mean, your heart goes out to the kid.
Yeah.
Played a hell of a season, and then for it to end against South Alabama State or whatever the fuck they were playing. And the injury was horrific. His ankle was completely...
It's the end of his college career completely. He already announced that, so...
If you're the Bears, you got to take a mid-round flyer on a guy like that. 5th round, 4th round. Draft 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Draft 2 quarterbacks at this stage of the game. What the fuck do you have to lose?
Nothing. Nada. A couple more things on college football before we go into some of the games coming up. But number 1, Dave Clawson, coward. Coward! Wake Forest coach.
Why do you call him a coward?
No, I know. Wake Forest coach says that Notre Dame shouldn't be celebrating Sam Hartman because he was ours first, and he doesn't know that the transfer portal is a thing, so he was getting all upset and butthurt about that. And in my opinion, I'd say, you're Wake Forest, man. We're not Wake Forest. Notre Dame's a little more prestigious than Wake Forest. Sam Hartman goes there, has a pretty decent season this year. Notre Dame has some reason to celebrate that, but it's like this guy just learned that the transfer portal was a thing. It's like, yeah, this is how this works. I don't know what to tell you.
You're still gonna play in the fucking Potato Bowl.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, you know what
celebrate they should do if they want great ratings. Put USC and Notre Dame in a bowl
I know.
Game.
I've had that thought process, but also Notre Dame's ranked a lot higher than USC now. No offense, but they are. Yeah. I don't know. So they might. I mean, it's possible, but it's...
Sapo, Vince. Sapo, as the kids say these days.
I'm just saying.
No cap.
We have quite a match. I'm just going to go right past that.
I'm not even
going to entertain that. We have
we
have quite a few matchups to come up this week, dude. The most notably, Michigan versus Ohio State.
I gave you my pick. Who's your pick?
I know. I think Ohio State's winning this.
Why?
Right now.
What's your reasoning behind that? I'd love to know.
Michigan hasn't played anybody difficult all year.
Who's Ohio State played?
They at least played Notre Dame, and they at least beat them. But also, I don't know about J.J. McCarthy. I don't know about Michigan not having a head coach nor stealing signs, which obviously was a thing. I'm not even a Michigan hater. I just think, hey, I've seen the proof in the pudding with Ohio State playing at least a couple good teams. And Michigan playing last week against a team that's relatively okay and having that hard of a time with them, I don't know. Part of me feels like Ohio State's going to be able to close. But your argument, being at the big house, obviously there's going to be a lot of fans that are yammering for their guy out there. I could see it, but in my heart of heart tells me Ohio State's going to win this game.
With Kyle McCord.
Mm-hmm.
Against
all that is Kyle McCord.
an outstanding Michigan defense.
Yeah. I see it.
I don't see how it works. Here's why I say that. If you're going to talk about opponents that are close, we could look at Penn State, where they only won by 8 points.
Yep.
And then we could look at Ohio State at Wisconsin, an away game, where they only won by 2 touchdowns against a Wisconsin team that's not even ranked.
Yep.
Many would say that they're not really even relative right now in the Big Ten. And then
Fickle.
I'm just saying, granted, they did pump Maryland, but they were home, so that has something to do with it.
Comparatively.
I could see it going either way. Right now, in my opinion, I'm leaning towards Michigan. I feel like they have far more to play for than an Ohio State team. Now, to add some fuel to the fire, Jim Harbaugh was asked in a most recent press conference his thoughts on Ryan Day, and he didn't even answer and just moved on to the next topic, which I thought was a smidge of a fucking slight. Considering that,
just like, why are you asking me this shit? I don't give a fuck about him. What are we doing?
But there's no respect there, in my opinion.
True.
There's zero respect.
I don't think he has respect for him at all. I also think Ryan Day's kind of a chode.
Why is Ryan Day a chode? I actually kind of like the guy.
I think I don't know. He kind of annoys me. Also, I mean, again, like after the Notre Dame thing, that pissed me off too. But like outside of that, like
to come out and let you know that like.
I was just, why are you screaming at me right now? Yeah, I don't know. It's like,
well, Vince,
his theatrics kind of don't feel like they're real to me. Like he feels like he's playing it up, which annoys me.
Vegas agrees with your friend Michael.
Okay.
That Michigan is favored to win this game.
+3, 2.5?
Plus 3.5.
Okay.
So Ohio State are 3.5 dogs going into this game. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be cold. It's going to be Michigan in November for sure. I just feel as if that's it. Now, moving forward, we do have some other rivalry games that we should add notoriety to, right? So if we
Tennessee
do look
Vandy.
at this, what?
Tennessee Vandy, get up for that game.
No, not getting up for that game.
That's a Tennessee matchup.
Oregon State.
Yeah.
This game to me seems to be it. Not only that, you have the Iron Bowl in Alabama, Auburn.
Yep.
Which can always go one way or another. But I am solely focused on Oregon State. What are your thoughts?
On Oregon State? Oregon State.
They're playing at home. Ducks are at home.
I see them winning by a lot, to be honest. I mean, Oregon State played a really good game last week. I think that
their defense is stout, man.
I know, but like Oregon's front five on defense too is disgusting. And also Oregon's offense is running really well. I mean, it just depends on how well they can hold the line and if their defensive backs start doing their job. But I don't know, dude. I do think Oregon's like very good. Like if I had my choice today, I'd put them in the top 4. I think they're probably the most competitive to go to the college football playoff in the Pac-12 right now. Over Washington. I'm sorry, but over Washington, I'd put them there.
Considering Washington beat them in their first match.
I know. I'm with you. But it's just, watching them play, it's just like a whole different level. Maybe it's because their jerseys look cool. What the fuck do I know?
Jerseys have always been dope.
Yeah. What are you taking?
No,
Oregon State?
No.
It's hard. It's hard.
I can't after last week.
Yeah.
It was a 2-point game. I just think Bo Nix finds the best, and he gets it done. Right? I mean, that's personally how I look at this going.
I'm with you.
But the rest of these games, I mean, just...
One question.
Yep.
How many points Iowa versus Nebraska? How many points are put on the board in that game? It might be 6-3. It might be 6-3. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
I'm going to say under 25.5.
Yeah. Yeah. I would,
Bet the under. Give me Iowa. It's going to just be a defensive dogfight. Yeah. 10 a.m. You're going to be hungover from turkey. You're going to be all those great things. You're going to need to be hydrated. Right?
Wait. Oh,
wait.
Wait.
Either way, you should hydrate, but you should also look forward to the great sport of baseball. Ariana's going to tell you about some awesome
Wait. One thing about baseball, it's going to be a quick little quip, and then we're going to move on to what we're going to get to there. Shohei Ohtani Shohei Ohtani is a free agent. Shohei Ohtani will not be pitching in the year 2024. He said he will make a comeback pitching in 2025. Realistically, he's going to sign a long-term deal. That's what you expect to be somewhere in the...
Early.
That's what you expect. Not 100% going to happen, but that's what you expect. Shohei Ohtani is probably going to get somewhere in the 10 to 13 year, maybe 500 plus range contract, something insane, just from the marketing dollars by itself. He's going to take meetings with a bunch of teams. He doesn't want anybody knowing that he's taking meetings with teams. So far, so as it is reported that if he's going to take private meetings, and if those meetings are leaked to the public, he will not be signing with the team. Cut and dry, done. Not happening. So if he goes to the Yankees and then some reporter's like, Shohei Ohtani met with the Yankees today, Yankees done. So this is like a liability on the reporters as well as the team to not leak it out. But what happens if you see him at Dulles Airport and all of a sudden he can't be a national anymore? Like, that's
What if
where
the
my head's
Taxi
at.
Squad podcast leaks it to the world?
What after
Then
me?
what?
Well, and I heard this today too. It was like we're gonna
get
leak.
a cease and desist.
Well, we're just gonna leak and say like, oh, the White Sox met with Shohei Ohtani because they're never going to. So then it'll be like, oh shit, they met with them, and that's why he didn't sign with them. At least we'll get reasoning.
Jerry
for it.
Reinsdorf going to sign somebody. Listen, we'll give you half the team.
Yeah.
I bought it for 2 pennies.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing too. There might be like an ownership stake thing into it. I don't know what the rules are with that, but at least he's gonna probably get close to half a bill if he ends up going the long-term deal route. Like he's gonna get something insane.
There are other talks though that he may sign a short-term deal, like a 1-year deal with somebody in order to ring chase essentially.
Good.
At a discount just to go be a DH for a season.
Goes to Houston.
And
all of a sudden I gotta hate him. Not a fan.
I think he would go to Texas. You'd be dumb not to go to Texas. Go
Try
play
to
for the
repeat?
Rangers. Go to the Rangers.
Or
Dude,
move
come
across
on.
town.
I don't think the Dodgers have what it takes. I don't think they'll ever have what it takes. I think that team is destined to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, not in a COVID season. Just my only opinion.
I think that's valid.
The Diamondbacks beat them in 4 games.
Oh, I thought you were saying he's going to the Diamondbacks. I'm like, no, he's not.
I mean, it could be a thought process. That's a great young team that has a lot. With the Suarez trade just happening today, how that made sense. Somebody
Here's
was
an
drunk in
idea.
a bar.
Philadelphia. Dombrowski. They can use another bat. He's not going to pitch, but maybe in a couple of years he's going to because they needed pitching help. They already signed Nola.
My only thing there, Vince, is where does Kyle Schwarber play?
Throw him in left.
He can't play the outfield. It'd be like
he can.
putting me or you in left.
I know. It's worked before.
I haven't
Throw him
played
in left.
outfield since I was 19.
That's true.
You know, I mean,
Throw him in left.
It's real talk.
I mean, the runs that you gain from that acquisition, you'll probably end up not mattering that he's out there.
You need to go to a team that's balanced defensively. And to me, Texas makes the most sense. You go and sign a 1-year deal at Texas, right? You DH, you hit bombs. You love to play at that stadium in the World Baseball Classic. You hit bombs in that stadium in the World Baseball Classic.
I could see it.
It would make sense.
You don't hear a lot of stuff coming out of Texas, too, about, like, the media and even, like, the Seager and the Semien thing. Like, you didn't hear about that until the end of the time with them. So I could actually see that. I could see that being realistic. I really hope it's not Houston. That would really stink for me. And then maybe pulls a little Mariners thing, or maybe that's the thing that he does after a year. Because also, you're going to be betting on him pitching, and if there's something that happens in the next year that doesn't allow him to be a pitcher anymore, and that's a confirmed thing, then you might be a little SOL signing him for a long time. So, I mean, they're probably going to be looking at his health as well into, are we going to do a 1-year deal and then sign later? If you're not able to pitch after that, and they know it as a fact rather than like an expectation or a hope, that could also, change the way the money is actually. I mean, there's going to be marketing. There's going to be advertising.
He will pitch again. There's no doubt in my mind he'll pitch again. It's good to take a year off. I don't think that after having Tommy John that injury is going to be too out of bounds just to hit. You never know how it's going to affect somebody, though. It's a risk you take if you sign a guy like this. Now, a team that everybody is not talking about. Well, they are. But he is meeting essentially with everybody. The Cubs truly have a shot.
Not happening.
He was on the initial list.
I know.
They were on the initial list that he had.
That's getting leaked. It already got leaked. It's getting leaked immediately when that happens. I guarantee it. Chicago's such a cesspool with that shit, and that's what I'm saying too. It's like maybe they want to avoid like the media extremities, and which is also the reason why I don't think he's going to go to the New York Yankees either. Like I don't see that being a thing. They're almost too much of a brand. I mean, I could see it. Obviously, they're talking about it, but in my opinion, I'm like they're almost too much of a brand where they're just gonna plaster them everywhere, and it's almost going to be too much too fast. Like I don't see it happen. It would be cool because then I could just see Shohei Ohtani walking around my neighborhood, but I just don't see that happening because I think they're trying to avoid that at all costs.
No, I think he stays in LA. I think there's no shot in my eyes he doesn't stay on the West Coast.
He's leaving. He's leaving the Angels though. If
Why
he
do you
wants
say
to
that?
win, why? Like maybe Trout. Like there's talking that Trout's going to get traded to the Philadelphia Phillies too.
There's also talk that Trout could get traded to the Dodgers if Shohei signs.
That would be insane. They would have to win.
If you're Mike Trout, though, I love Mike Trout. I think what he is to the game is the closest thing to Mickey Mantle as to what Mickey Mantle's career could have been.
Yeah,
if
but
he stayed
Trout's
healthy.
afraid to talk is the issue, which is why I think if he goes to Philly and just starts hitting bombs and lets Bryce Harper be the guy, they'll probably be a match made in heaven. Plus, Philly guy, big Eagles fan, makes a lot of sense to me.
He grew up in New Jersey. I mean, it's fine. I get it.
No, I'm just saying he's a big Philly guy. He likes all the Philly stuff.
How with that payroll, how in the fuck are the Phillies going to even make that close?
Doesn't matter. That's Dombrowski, baby. Dombrowski makes it happen. He did it with the Red Sox. He's went to the World Series, almost won twice in a row. It's always possible.
Aaron Nola re-signed. That's new news. That's something to pay attention to. Oh, and it is official. The White Sox are looking to trade Dylan Cease.
They also signed Paul DeYoung. Hooray.
Yay! All right. Now,
What a fucking
speaking
mess.
of baseball, here's an honest question.
Yeah.
Who won the Cease Quintana trade? The White Sox or the Cubs?
I mean, the Cubs didn't win it because they didn't get anything out of him. So we probably won it just by jersey sales. But, like, neither team won it. It sucked for both of them.
I rarely ever take the side of the Chicago Cubs, but here's the
How
one
did they
time
win
we
it?
do.
You have to explain to me how they won it because they didn't get shit
No
from
problem.
Quintana. They got him for half a year and then he was gone.
No problem.
Okay.
You got a starting pitcher to compete with in the NLC or NLDS.
What did he do that year?
He pitched one game,
Horrible.
2 games.
Brutal.
Yeah, he didn't do it well,
Oh,
but
so bad.
they still played in a playoff game, right?
Not because of him. Honestly,
Not
despite
because of him. It wasn't supposed to be because of him. The White Sox were rebuilding.
Yeah.
Kopech, Moncada, Cease, Eloy.
Great.
What have they done for us? Any one of them.
That's not the argument, though. You're saying who won the
But
trade. You
the
get
Cubs,
a
in theory,
couple
could
games
be
of
looked at winning the
horseshit
trade.
Quintana, or you get a couple really good years out of Cease. You get Eloy Jimenez, who's an injury problem. Both teams lost.
The most you got out of Cease was 1 year where he was in Cy Young contention,
Better than half a year of bad Quintana.
where you weren't competing for anything though on the south side. You weren't
I know,
competing
but
for a
I'm not
fucking
saying that
thing.
the Cubs won it because that was a worse trade for them. They got bad Quintana for a short amount of time. We got a couple guys that were okay for a decent amount of time. It was a bad trade overall. Did not work out for either of us, but you can't say they won the trade. That's crazy.
Future for our good friend Getz. Is that his name?
Chris Getz, yeah. Royals
Chris
legend.
Getz. Royals legend Chris Getz. Don't
Yep.
trade with the Cubs. Just don't do it. It has bad juju written all over it. The first time they ever did it was for fucking Albert Bell,
Yeah.
and that didn't work.
I thought that was from the Indians.
That was, but then we traded him to the Cubs. Still
Right.
didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
What do we get from it? Sammy Sosa. Who would have known what we could have been if we had Sammy Sosa? I don't know.
Well, we ended up winning a couple years after that, and no Steve Bartman. So, it's sad sack season on the South Side. It is what it is. We'll deal with it. the
Hey,
way that
he
we
doesn't
deal
like
with
the team. So we should be happy.
Yeah, he doesn't like the way it's constructed right now. We'll see what he ends up doing. I don't think much, but we'll see what he does.
Can't get much worse. All right. And
I'm
if you
thirsty.
are going to play the great game of baseball, you should stay hydrated with Liquid IV.
This portion of today's show is brought to you by Liquid IV. That's right, the hydration brand we've all come to know and love is with ya boys. It's festival, outdoor party, and adventure season, and proper hydration is essential. You don't want to miss out on the summertime activities while they're still here. Liquid IV will help you hydrate and stay in the game. I've been using Liquid IV for a few years, and I found a ton of uses for it. Going to sleep after a day-long soiree. This is the product that helps me rehydrate and recover. I brought them with me on hikes, long bike rides, vacations, and maybe most importantly, bachelor party weekends. The beauty of it all is that Liquid IV comes in a small, convenient package that you just add to a bottle of water and drink away. One stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the Taxi Squad podcast code, TAXISQUADPODCAST, no spaces, at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using the promo code Taxi Squad podcast at liquidiv.com. NFL's back again, Mike. We have the NFL for 4 days this week. We got a Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday slate. How do you feel about the Friday game?
I could care less.
It is kind of weird. I don't know if I'm going to like watching the NFL at the beginning of the weekend, right?
It's like a game that they thought was going to be great, hypothetically, but it's not.
Yeah, but I mean, NFL, I'm going to watch it, you know? Like, I'm watching that game.
To be honest, I'd much rather at the 1 o'clock time or 11 o'clock time if you're in the Mountain Standard Time.
Yeah.
I would much rather watch college football, which is what I will be
That's
doing.
true. It is midday. You're going to have to watch Zach Wilson. I don't know if that's everybody's favorite thing to do.
No, it's actually going to be Tim Boyle.
Oh, he's not starting. I forgot Salah decided to bench his ass, which I don't know if that's better or worse.
Like, your guy's going to have a bad game, and Salah comes up there all fucking chrome dome and just like, well, yeah.
Defense played well. You're like, yeah, always. That's how that shit works.
We know the defense played well.
It'll be fun, though. We got, obviously, 3 games going on Thanksgiving. We have a lot less games going on Sunday because of that. But the first thing we got to do is go through our Week 11 slate, how our picks went. You went 9-5. I go 8-6. Another week, another late season where you're just starting to take over. Not the best thing for me. I'm not very excited about that personally, but you know what? We come back and we stay as strong as ever on this side of the camera, and I am planning on, righting my wrongs.
I'm not surprised really for a second.
Oh, yeah?
Considering.
Oh, good to know. Cool.
I knew this would happen. I started off slow. A lot was going on in the beginning part of the year, getting married, traveling across the country quite a bit. But I knew that there would come a time. And
now you're checked in.
I feel like I'm in a press conference right now. It's like, what do you think happened the first half of the year? It's like, we just got off to a slow start, and, we just needed to break it all down on a little bit higher level. And I think once we decided to look at each schedule, each matchup, and go from there and understand truly what was at stake, we put it together.
We came together as a team at the end of the year, I think is what you're trying to say.
I think we did come together as a team at the end of the year. If that team was
whatever, fuck it. I don't care. It's okay. I'm coming back this week. It's gonna be all right, dude. I don't need this shit. Mikey press conference. Hopefully we don't get another one of those positive ones next week. But we're going to start our favorite segment. It's called a little bit of Skip It or Rip It. And we're going to start off with the Bengals and Ravens. And I just say rip it off the front because your Super Bowl pick is dead.
Man, mushed.
Mikey mushed this week. If
you ever seen the movie A Bronx Tale, you would know about a guy named Eddie Mush, and anything he touches turns to mush. That's how I feel about my fantasy season.
Yeah,
that's definitely how I feel about my pick for the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Had a undeniable belief in the young Joe Burrow. And, that didn't happen. There's a lot of speculation going on right now that the bettors union or whatever the fuck these guys are, the different books, might sue the Bengals, considering that they stated that they may have had inside knowledge that Joe Burrow was hurt.
You know what?
Before the game and didn't report it.
This is a sketchy little thing, and I heard Mike Florio talk about this today too, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know if you can. I mean, betting is infiltrating the sport regardless. Like, that's obviously a thing right now, but also it's like, for a strategic advantage from the Bengals side, they are not required to tell anybody that he's injured or not injured. Like, they're not required to do that. He ended up playing, and maybe he had a little bit of an injury, but like that lawsuit, I think, can get thrown in the shitter right away, in my opinion, at least. Because what do they owe them?
The problem is you must disclose to the NFL after each week the injuries to your team.
Right, but did they know that was going to be one that doesn't affect how the game's going to go?
There could be repercussions if you withheld information from the NFL.
From the NFL, not the bettors.
But the NFL is what releases that information.
Will announce it all.
After each week, they get an injury report. They announce the injury report. If that injury report is faulty, which clearly it may have been, and this season is just getting plagued by injuries for the Bengals. And Joey B is going to have season-ending surgery. It's it. And T. Higgins is probably going to get shut down. Jamar Chase should probably get shut down at this stage of the game, too. What do they have to play for?
We got a Mark Andrews injury, too, this week. Seems like tight end rooms are getting smoked. Ravens did end up winning this one. They go to 8-3. They're looking really fucking good. Losing Mark Andrews is tough, though.
Likely.
Isaiah Likely. Yeah.
Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
Who's likely to be the starter.
He's pretty good.
Anyways. Anywho, should be good because in his time filling in for Mark Andrews in the past has done a sufficient job. I think that he's going to get the volume. I think Mark Andrews is a definite loss considering he's one of the best tight ends in football, and
top
Jackson
3
looked for him often.
Yeah.
But I just think it's going to be good. They need to involve Odell more, which was nice to see.
4 receptions, 116. Yeah.
It was nice to see Odell kind of look like the Odell of old. I still think he's got some gas in the tank.
I agree. We'll see how that ends up working, but he has more targets than just Mark Andrews this year, which is going to help him a little bit, especially with this injury. It's not, make or break, which is good, but Ravens keep moving. They probably win this division. Bengals, you have to assume, are kind of moved out of any playoff talk at this point, which opens the door for these two teams that we're talking about next. Steelers at Browns. I'm going to rip it.
Let's rip.
Browns end up beating them 13-10. Obviously not an offensive game. You didn't expect that. Kenny Pickett, I don't know about all that anymore. I'm really losing any hope for them. Canada's out.
Well, any scapegoat you wanted to have, you have now. So Matt Canada is gone. Brian Leftwich in.
I didn't think Canada was really the issue, though.
They're putting it on him, and Mike Tomlin fired him. Now Brian Leftwich is taking over. Brian Leftwich, notably most recent, was the OC for the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers.
Yep.
And did a sufficient job.
And quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, don't you forget.
And QB for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Marshall alum, notably broke his ankle in a game and finished the game to win.
Yes, sir.
Absolute dog, but that doesn't necessarily make him the answer at OC for the Steelers. We will see how this plays out. Kenny Pickett does not look to be it.
Jalen Warren better than Najee Harris?
No, they're
He's
different.
He's faster than him.
They're different.
Najee Harris is
Najee hurdles grown men.
He seems like a lot. Well, he did hurdle grown men. That's kind of what I'm saying. He seems like he lost a step already.
It's the typical tale of the tape in running backs and why they don't get paid in the NFL. 2 years, you're great.
So early.
2 years, you're burnt out and you're done.
He was bad last year, too. That was the thing.
Most NFL franchises figured out that you can draft a running back in the 4th round every year and receive similar production to the guy drafted in the 1st round every year.
Roshan Johnson, come on through.
Roshan.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson starts for the Browns. Didn't play too bad, but they do end up bringing in Joe Flacco to the team. Might be starting this week, as we mentioned earlier. Good or bad? I mean,
love it.
they're 7-3.
I love it.
They're primed. They are primed for a wild card spot this year. Maybe a division.
They won't go much further than that.
I
I don't believe. No. They do own a tiebreaker against the Ravens. I think they got to play one more time, but all in all, I do believe.
Let's look at their schedule. You have the Broncos in Denver. You have the Rams in Los Angeles. You play the Jaguars at home. So I'm saying like 2-1 there.
Mm-hmm.
Bears, they beat them. So we're talking 3-1. Texans, crapshoot. So let's give them the loss, 3-2. Then they play the Jets and the Bengals, and I think they win both of those. So they go 5-2 the end of the season. I mean, that's
there's a lot of football left to play here.
I'm with you, but I'm just saying, like 7-3 right now. They end the season. What is that? 12-5. Like that's a playoff team, dude.
Maybe. I mean, right now when you look at the record, you're like, wait, how
is that possible? I don't get it.
Round 7-3.
I know.
It's impressive. Truly, I mean, shout out to Kevin Stefanski. He's done what he could without Nick Chubb, without some of the best players on the team.
So good. He's so
Miles
good.
Garrett is a freak.
Oh my
I don't know if anybody watched in that game. Someone's helmet came off.
Yeah,
and picked it up, and everybody was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, Mason Rudolph's on the sideline, like, "Whoa." Triggered.
Mason Rudolph is just like hearing helicopters in the background, like, oh fuck.
He's like, what did I say this time?
What did I do? I didn't do it, Miles. I swear.
But either way, Browns end up beating the Steelers. It was an absolute grudge match of defense, and now we're looking at a possibly 12-5 team.
It was the most AFC East matchup ever.
North,
my bad. There we go.
North. Speaking of the AFC East, Dolphins beat the Raiders at home 20-13. You knew the Antonio Pierce thing was going to end. Do you have anything on this game?
Nope.
It is what it is.
You started Achan in fantasy. You wish you would have taken all the trades everybody offered you.
I was saying that too. I'm like, Raheem Mostert had a big load going into it. They're not going to rush this guy back. Sorry. That's not what I meant. But he had a big workload going into it.
Oh, boy, did he?
And I anticipate that being a split backfield, if not Mostert-centric for the rest of the year, if it was me.
Yep. I can skip it.
I'll skip it too. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the time.
Let's talk about it.
The Bears lost to the Lions 31-26 this week. The Chicago Bears played a very good game for 3 quarters, and the 4th quarter was bad.
Oh, this team, man, this fucking team.
I think off the bat here,
why?
I would like to mention that Fields looked pretty good. They also had actual planned, played out runs for Justin Fields in the beginning of the game, and it worked well. And they got away from it again.
Damn it!
And yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown ends up, doing whatever he calls his dance in the end zone and comes back. They do a podcast. Equanimous and Amon-Ra did a podcast together.
They fucking do. Who doesn't do a podcast anymore?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. These guys are crazy. Why would you do a podcast?
Why would you dare do a podcast?
They did do a podcast. Amon-Ra said the Bears are chokers, and he's goddamn right. There's no doubt about it. And my thought to you is 3-8 now. We have the Panthers pick as well. Some people are saying, hey, we saw good things in this game. This is an interdivision. This is the best. We saw some good things in the beginning of this game. The end was bad. Is it a good thing that they're losing again, or is this losing mentality the reason that we keep fucking losing in the first place?
To hear Matt Eberflus talk is like listening.
Get him out of here, bro. What is going on?
Whatever the audible version is of a monkey fucking a football. That is literally Matt Eberflus talking at the podium. Yeah. I'm not kidding. That's literally what it is. Okay, this fucking man is an idiot. I don't know how you meet this person if you're an organization and go, that's the fucking guy.
Crazy.
He can barely put together a sentence.
Only the Bears.
Literally, he was asked, why wasn't Montez Sweat on the field the last drive of the game where your most paid player / best defensive player should be making moves?
Yeah.
And they go, he just said, well, he wasn't in that defensive shift.
Yeah, that's insane. It's not
Wait,
permissible.
what?
It's not permissible.
Huh?
Why would he not be in an end of the game?
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Oh, he just wasn't in. Why didn't you fit him into that?
Put him in it,
shit?
motherfucker. What you're not playing defensive ends at the end of the game? What are you talking about?
What is the thought process behind taking a timeout when the team has 0 fucking timeouts on the other side of the ball?
Yep.
Granted, they're on your 10-yard line, but the clock is running.
How do you
They
get
had no timeouts?
How do you get pressure on a quarterback that's playing very well, that has a lot of very good weapons? How do you get pressure on them if you're not having your best pass rusher on the field?
Jared Goff didn't have a great game.
No, turnovers all over the place.
3 interceptions.
All over the place.
He doesn't play necessarily well against the Bears, but he came back and put some great numbers up.
Yeah.
And that team was driving, but instead of taking a timeout, trying to give your team a stance on offense to potentially win the game, you're up by 4 points. The pressure's on. The clock is running. Why are you taking a defensive timeout to give them more time to figure out their next step?
Correct. Bad coaching.
I don't get it, man.
He also tapped himself on the back after that game too. I don't know if you saw that press clipping where it was like, I think we were calling good defensive plays, whoever was calling the plays, and he's like, that was me. That's what he really said. You're like, what the fuck are we talking about right now?
Oh, was it now? You lost another game where you were up.
He's an asshole. I wanted to like him for a long time. I can't anymore. I don't think anybody in Chicago does either. It's just about done. This game is finished here. We are what we are. And again, do we just keep losing at this point? Like, you got to get high-end talent.
I just don't understand how week after week this team, especially when Justin Fields is playing, they like set you up real nice. They're like, ooh, look, we're pretty good, right? And they like spread your legs apart. And then they're like, okay, you stand right there. We'll be right back. And then they just haul off and kick you square in the balls. Just right in the dick. Just whatever way they can. Just to end your fucking Sunday of being remotely positive. This game could have been the lead in to like a long week of like, holy shit, we won against the best team in the division, considering we haven't won a division game in 12 fucking games. But at 12 division matchups, 2 years, we haven't won one of them. And oh my God.
Yeah, it's bad news bears, literally. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hope they just, lose. They lose out. They get rid of Eberflus. He's obviously the biggest issue that we got going on right now. Probably take a quarterback in the first round in the top 5 pick wherever we are, and then move on.
Is quarterback? I mean, okay. To Justin Fields' credit, he is not the reason they lost this game. He is not.
I know, but you end up at that spot with the talent level as the other guys. You have to end up taking them.
By the way. Why aren't on the last drive of the game where you got 20 seconds, world beater on the edge for them, who I wasn't very high on coming out of Michigan,
Aiden
Hutchinson.
Yeah, dog.
Against your rookie left tackle, Darnell Wright. You don't maybe think we're going to put Cole Kmet on that side with him to give him some help.
Yeah, great blocker, Cole Kmet.
I know, but it's a body.
I'm with you.
Body, dude.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the thought process is there as well. Justin Fields overall had a good game.
I agree.
I don't know anything else to say.
I just think wherever they are in the draft, they're taking the talent that's best ranked there. You're probably going to end up taking a quarterback, and you're probably going to end up taking a wide receiver too early.
Well, here's the situation.
Eddie Jackson's got to fucking go too, by the way.
Oh, don't even bother watching the film on Eddie Jackson. You'll just make yourself crazy.
Finished. Done.
Dead. They're dead to us. I'm done with this team for the rest of the season. They're going to play the Vikings. They'll probably lose. At this stage of the game, if the Bears are winning at the half,
they're going to lose it.
A team with a winning record, just bet on that team at the half, live bet. You'll win some money.
Sure.
At one point going into the half, I think the Lions had like 1 in 16 odds of winning. If you would have bet that would have been insane.
I'm with you. I think we've harped on it enough. Moving on to the other side. Lions are now 8-2 for the first time since 1962. JFK was president. The Browns and the Lions, both. This is the last time they were this good going into Thanksgiving. Both of them together, which is hilarious. Lions are probably going to win the division. There's almost no way I can say that, especially with Minnesota's loss this week. I hope they win a playoff game this year. I hope they do. I think it'd be good for them because they haven't seen that longer than we have.
I hope the Lions really get after it the rest of this season. They play the Bears again. That looks good for them.
There's another dub. A sweaty one, but there's another dub.
They play the Bears in a few weeks, actually. So, yeah, right now, the Bears end the schedule. They got the Vikings, Lions, Browns, Cards, Falcons, and Packers. You hope they can win maybe 3 of these 6 games. So.
I've got them going 1-5. 1-6.
All right.
They'll beat the Cardinals. Okay.
Hopefully. Onward and upward. Go Lions.
Moving on. Jaguars at home against the Titans.
I can skip it.
Yeah, the Jags are good. I don't know how good. This is kind of a whatever. Actually, I do have one thing for the Titans. I wouldn't be surprised if Vrabel's gone after this year. And
Mike Vrabel would be an amazing college coach.
I think also he will be likely interviewed by a bunch of teams, and if this chatter that Belichick could leave is a thing, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in New England after that. But that's all speculation.
If I'm a college program, I would be all eyes on Mike Vrabel.
If he wants to recruit is the big thing. I don't know if Vrabel's going to want to recruit.
Could you imagine Mike Vrabel in your living room?
Yeah, no.
I'm ready to run through.
He'd bump his head on my roof. You've been in here. All right. Chargers at Packers. I don't know.
The Chargers need to fire their head coach.
They suck.
Brandon Staley is not it. He needs to go back. Rex Ryan said on Good Morning today or football or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, Good Morning Football.
That basically he needs to go back to Division III football where he belongs, and that his wife could do a better job coaching the Chargers.
That's a Rex Ryan thing to say. I agree with that, though. I mean, he's not a great coach, and they shouldn't have lost that game, especially
and he said, I called the defense.
He should. I mean, it's insane. They're the highest paid defense in the league, and they can't beat the Packers. And they have a future, quarterback. They have a quarterback for the foreseeable future. So it's insane. It's starting to feel a little Phillip Riversy, and it's making me feel bad. Texans at Cardinals. I only want to rip this for a moment because this is the first game that C.J. Stroud hasn't looked like a world beater, and they still won the game, and they figured out how to do it. So I think this team is officially pretty damn good.
I think this team is capable of getting into the playoffs.
Me too.
They're
going to win this division.
So. They have the shot to win the division. I mean, Granted, right now, if you look at the AFC, the Jaguars are still ahead of them by a game.
They could definitely win it, though.
I mean, it's going to be fun to see the Texans through the rest of the season. They got a pretty difficult schedule. Coming up this Sunday, they have the Jaguars. Following Sunday, they have the Broncos. And you have the Jets, Titans, Browns, Titans, and Colts. So their last 4 games, not terrible.
They're split. Yeah, you're split between good and bad.
They got a tough couple weeks coming up here.
They take a game against the Jaguars, and you're looking at a very interesting AFC South going up to the stretch here.
It's going to be interesting.
Cowboys and Panthers. Panthers suck.
Moving on.
Giants and Commanders. Stallion, huh?
Got to talk about Tommy fucking
Come
DeVito.
on. Illinois legend Tommy DeVito.
With this.
The fuck was this? What was this game?
Dude, he looked great.
How? From where? How did this happen?
I don't know. Sam Howell's great too, by the way.
He is good.
Sam Howell
he's very good.
He's really good.
Bad decisions in this game, but he's good.
I think Tommy DeVito is a great story. He's like the Rocky of the NFC East.
Yeah, he is. His family's really funny. His family's really funny in the stands. Saquon Barkley had a ridiculous game. He's so fucking good.
Like Saquon the old.
It feels like Dable's coaching for his job right now, which is good.
Yeah.
Sure. And they played a really good game. and there's nothing to hate against on the Giants on this, but you can't expect this to happen weekly, right?
I don't think so. I think a blind squirrel finds a nut every
Yep.
now and again. Tommy DeVito had a wonderful game. I think he's a great story. I think he's a great little greaseball throwing the rock.
He's such a perfect New York Italian. He's just not that
He
good a
is.
quarterback. But this week he was.
You know what I will say? He'll be a backup for a long time and then get into TV somehow because he's a good-looking kid.
He
and
is.
He's got probably a halfway decent personality growing up in a
He's gonna be on the fucking mozzarella in the morning. All right. Buccaneers at 49ers.
I could skip it.
Yeah, whatever. 49ers win again.
No kidding.
Jets at Bills.
It's a
nail, meat, coffin.
It's over.
Aaron Rodgers coming back and saving the season? Not going to happen. Bills needed a win like this, but let's see if they can keep it going because they still aren't necessarily in a playoff spot because the Browns have a better record than them, and so do the Texans. So, moving on. Seahawks at Rams. We were both wrong here.
Wow. Matt Stafford pulled out his best impression. Cooper Kupp out again with an ankle injury. Puka Nacua looks like he is it.
He's so good.
I will say that much.
So
He's
good.
really good. And I think that it was a close game. I think this is Matt Stafford's last season. I think it's over.
Kind of feels like it.
He's not renewing. I think he's going to get into winemaking and live in California with his smoking hot wife and just chill.
Yep. I don't think it'd be too bad. Geno Smith maybe got an injury. Maybe Drew Lock season. Or Drew Lock, excuse me.
He wishes he could be the brother of Andrew. Anyways,
no, same name, buddy.
Yeah, Drew.
That's his whole last name. That's his whole last name.
There's some guys who just are Drew.
Yep.
Right?
True.
But I will say this: I do believe that Drew Lock has incredible arm talent. I just don't believe he has the mental fortitude to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Jeezy.
Yeah,
he likes young Jeezy, dude.
Yeah, he does like young Jeezy. Who doesn't like Jeezy? Jeezy hasn't been relevant for a minute now.
You're right.
But I will say this. I believe that it's not going to look good without Geno on this team, and they should potentially look at drafting a quarterback this upcoming draft.
Agreed. 2 more games. Vikings at Broncos.
Got to rip this one.
Okay.
Russell's back.
Yeah, I think Sean Payton gave him a little bit of the true serum medicine.
Danger is back, and he is dangerous.
He's not good. 2012. He's not, he's not that. But he is end of the Seahawks run pretty damn good still, which
him
is
and Cortland
better.
Sutton have found each other.
Yeah.
They like each other a lot, and you can tell by the numbers.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Jerry Jeudy had an all right game. Jerry Jeudy was talking a lot of shit earlier in the year. That's obviously not his main target. He gave him 5 passes, but it just, I don't know. I don't get the whole Jerry Jeudy thing, but they ended up coming through and winning it. I think the Josh Dobbs thing is going to come to a head at some point. It's going to be middling, normal quarterback play. Everybody was rooting for him to be the next, fucking Tom Brady. And that leaves Minnesota at 6-5, which they're going to hope for a wild card spot. They did go 5 in a row. They just yammered them all off. So, 6-5. Broncos 5-5 now might end the season with a winning record, which would be crazy, but I don't think that's going to do a whole lot of much in the AFC West this year.
Josh Dobbs, to me right now, looks like a guy who got away with a couple of good games against shitty teams and then played a good team in a really tough situation at Mile High and doesn't know the offense fully. There was a couple of plays during that game where he just did not look like he had it all together. So
that's what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah.
He changed teams in the middle of the year, and he's a starting quarterback.
Right. So moving forward, I do believe, to your point, you will see some tampering off, but then again, he gets the Bears on a long week. He'll be fine.
Yeah, that's a win for them. All right. We're moving on to the Super Bowl matchup yesterday, the Kelsey Bowl Part 2. The Eagles end up beating the Kansas City Chiefs 21-17. The Eagles are the best team in the NFL right now. I did take them to win the Super Bowl. I'd like to make that clear. Pat Mahomes didn't have the best game. Travis Kelce might have butterfingers.
Travis Kelce is slowly becoming the biggest bitch in the NFL. Let me just put that out there.
Style God,
swag God shows up, to shows up to the stadium looking as if he's something out of a fucking GQ magazine.
He's been doing that. I will say that. He's just getting more
that's
press
fine.
now.
I get it. He's getting the press now. I understand all of it. He's becoming more NBA than NFL for me. When Taylor's not there, he's playing like dog shit. Holding call, fumble. Granted, he scores a touchdown, but offensively, they did not look very good on the opposite side of the ball. And I do think that the Swift thing might be getting to his head. The Swift cat might be getting to his head.
It could. And then I've had all of those thoughts. I like that.
He's putting the Swiftie on the pedestal.
You think DeAndre Swift got to him this year?
No. I did see the thing though. It was like Kelsey hurt Swift.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they were all in a line. Yeah. I thought all of those things, and then I thought, oh yeah, Andy Reid coaches a team that's quarterbacked by Patrick Mahomes, and they've won 2 Super Bowls.
They win that game if Valdez-Scantling doesn't have Butterfingers.
Correct. And also the Chiefs are 7-3, and they're going to go to the playoffs, and there's a 50% chance they win the whole fucking thing again this year, which sucks. But that's the reality of the beast these days. It is what it is.
There is now one thing to pay attention to if you pay attention to the Eagles is that Darius Leonard was most recently released by the Colts.
Shaquille, as some people call him these days.
Yes. Shaq Leonard was released by the Colts, and there is large talks that he could be going to play for an already formidable
Where does he
team.
fit? Where does he even fit on that team?
You make him fit.
Yeah.
You put him in at middle linebacker. He'll start immediately. He could start for anybody. Hey, maybe he goes to the Bears.
No. There's talks that he goes to the Cowboys maybe or the Eagles. If I'm him, I'm going to the Eagles because why the fuck would you go to the Cowboys? But yeah, that would be crazy if he goes there. It's Philadelphia is a city of riches right now. They just got to win something. But I like Philly, and that's why I took them to win the Super Bowl. And I think them winning this game is kind of good. Going into Arrowhead and winning it is kind of good. But also, don't let it go to your head because you might see them again in February.
You know who I love? I love Nick Sirianni. I love his game.
We have seen the change of your opinion on Nick Sirianni collectively as an audience.
I like him.
You're a Sirianni guy now.
I'm kind of a Sirianni guy. And after the game, he goes into the tunnel at Arrowhead and he goes, talking that shit. What you got to say now? And I'm like, I like this fucking
He's
guy.
A beast. He's a beast, dude. He likes to win.
I'm a fan. In the beginning, he was kind of a laughing stock, but he wins games, and you cannot argue that.
And that's the thing, too. It's winning cures all. Winning as a psychopath and winning makes you seem like you're a passionate character guy that everybody in the locker room likes you. Being a psychopath and losing all the time makes you seem like a psychopath. So, 2 sides to every side, or coin, excuse me.
2 sides to every side.
Every side's got 2 sides.
I agree, Vince. 2 sides
to every coin. So if you're winning, keep doing what you're doing. And if you're losing, that could be the end of you. Who fucking knows? But they're just growing trees out there, bud.
They're growing trees. And if your name is Harvey Dent, technically there's only one side of that coin.
True. I like that.
Do you get that? If you get that reference,
I do
you
get
like
that reference.
Man. All right,
I do get that reference. But it wasn't like a ah ha ha. It was like a clever dog.
You comic book.
That is the end of that slate. We got a couple games coming up not next week, today, technically.
Let's eat some fucking turkey, people.
This is Turkey Day. If you're listening to this on Friday and you're at work, I am sorry. I will not be following suit there. But we have 3 games on Thursday, 1 on Friday, rest on Sunday, and then we end with Bears-Vikings on Monday Night Football. Jesus Christ, that sounds bad. So we're going to get into our picks here. Started off the first game, Lions the best they've ever been going into Thanksgiving since 62. You got the Packers who are on a shitty run recently. Packers at Lions.
Give me the Lions by a touchdown.
Detroit Lions win a game. If you're listening to this for the first time, we don't do the score differentiation, the point spread, but we'll do it sometimes for fun. Commanders at Cowboys.
Cowboys.
I got to take them too. The Commanders looked fucking so bad.
I
last
would
week.
say if I'm a betting man, I would look at a Cowboys touchdown on defense.
Yeah. No, that's real
It's
because
been like a thing.
they've been doing that, and that's like the Dak Prescott, Tony Romo success story is their defense does it for them. 49ers at Seahawks to end Thanksgiving.
I mean, it depends if
Geno plays.
If Geno plays, it's a close game.
I don't think.
I will
I
say
don't think he's gonna that quick turnaround.
It is a quick turnaround. It's a short week. I don't see him playing. Drew Lock isn't it. It's looking like a Brock Purdy type of a day.
Yeah, I think we're gonna align ourselves the entire Thanksgiving. So good for us.
Yep. We agree on Thanksgiving.
Okay, Dolphins at Jets on Friday. We kind of talked about this already, but
Dolphins.
Tim Boyle. No,
Tim's
thank you.
Sorry, Tim.
Leave me out. Bring back Lightning Mike White. All right, Buccaneers at Colts could be kind of a game.
I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be throwing the ball over the pond.
Yeah.
Give me Baker though. Baker wins this game.
Taking the Bucks. I will take the Bucks too. I wanted to take my guy Gardner Minshew, but I don't know about all that. All right, shit bowl. Patriots at Giants.
Give me the just give me the Patriots. I'll just go with the Patriots blindly.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say, I want to have Los Giants. Give me the Giants. Thank you. I will take them. We'll see how it goes.
All right, let's see.
Steelers at Bengals. Bengals, no quarterback. Steelers win this, right?
Steelers, Lionel Richie.
That is crazy. Last week, there's no question. This week, it's like, the Steelers win this game.
Yeah, because a guy who played at Connecticut,
I know.
All right, is starting this game.
No, I don't blame you. It's just,
What's his name?
I don't even know. I forgot his name completely.
What's his name? Come on, what's his name?
I'm just going to look it up because I forgot. Because who would think there would be Jake Browning?
Jake Browning
is going to be browning his pants.
Only threw one touchdown in his entire college career at Connecticut. Played 4 years. Had one touchdown, 13 interceptions. Jeez, I don't know how this guy... Yeah, he's going to be in for a rude awakening. And to your point, he could be browning his pantaloons. So, give me the Steelers all night long.
All right, me too. Panthers at Titans.
It's going to be a shit bowl.
Yeah.
I think the Panthers some way, somehow win this game.
Okay.
Give me the Panthers.
I'll take the Titans just because I want the Panthers to lose.
Parity.
And also I want the Panthers to lose as many games as possible so we get number one. All right, Jaguars at Texans.
Sorry, Cheek. I'm taking the Texans. Here we go.
Taking the Texans. I'm going to take Mr. Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to take the Jaguars because the Jaguars have a lot to play for right now, and they have somebody nipping at their ankles called the Houston Texans. That's what I'm saying. This is a grudge match. This is a grudge match.
Hell of a game.
Saints at Falcons. Jameis.
Saints. I'll take the Saints.
I'll take the Falcons. Who fucking knows?
All right. Yeah. Who fucking
knows, dude? All right. Rams at Cardinals.
Sneaky game. Give me the Cards.
Okay. Kyler coming back and being pretty good. The Rams kind of winning a little bit. I'm going to go with you here. I'll take the Arizona Cardinals.
Let's go.
Browns. Oh, are you tired? Browns at Broncos.
It's been a day.
Yeah.
Give me the Broncos.
Give me the Browns, dude. Let's go.
Here we go.
This could be a switcheroony. Quite a week this week.
Let's go.
All right. Bills at Eagles.
Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah, can't bet against those guys.
They are so good. Chiefs at Raiders.
Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah. Sorry, Antonio Pierce. Ravens at Chargers.
Just give me the Ravens.
Same here. Chargers suck. And finally, Bears at Vikings.
Just got to pick the Vikings because the Bears
stink. The Bears stink.
We're stank and we're awful, and it's all going to get blown up at the end of the season.
Good good parity there in the middle slates of Sunday. So we'll see how that ends up working out for either of us. Either you take a bigger lead or I end up coming back and helping out a little bit and maybe getting even. So there's our picks. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Marathon.
What a time. What a time. And that's that on that. So without further ado, Mike, why don't you send us off to a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, huh?
Everyone, we appreciate you so much for joining us week after week as you choose to do. We've been doing this now for 3 years, and we ain't stopping anytime soon. We are almost at our very best. Moving into 2024, there are big plans for this podcast. We hope you've grown with us year over year. We are thankful for you if you have. We're also thankful for you if you're listening to this for the first time. If you are listening to this for the first time, we are available to be listened to on however you get your podcast content. So whatever that is, Spotify, Apple Music, Audible, whatever it is, we are on it.
YouTube.
Also, YouTube, if you do choose to get your content through YouTube, you will see these beautiful fotches week after week doing what we do best, talking shit, talking football, and also talking sports in general, which we do love to do. So with all of those things, we wish you guys a blessed, happy Thanksgiving. And please, as always, you got to like it.
Like it.
You got to share it.
Share it.
And you're going to be with your loved ones this weekend. Be sure you give the podcast to them as a show of thanks.
Do it.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.